Good evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori with the news. The office complex of the Niger Delta Development Commission, completed at 16 billion naira, has been formally inaugurated. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony virtually, described it as an important milestone in his administration's efforts at repositioning the Commission for Sustainable Development of the Niger Delta region. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Occupying a total land area of 39,116 square meters, the new magnificent disabled-friendly head office complex of the NDDC consists of a 13-floor twin-tower main building as well as a 4-story ancillary building which will be home to commercial properties like banks, hospitals, restaurants, and various conference halls. Before the completion of the project, which started in 1996, NDDC has been spending 200 million naira annually on rent.
I commend the management and staff of NDDC who stay in the cause and keen into the reform agenda of our administration. Today, we are handing over to the people of Niger Delta a befitting head office complex for present and future use. Consequently, huge yearly rentals will now be saved and deployed to other areas of needs in the region. I am particularly pleased to note the cordial relationship between the NDDC and the National Assembly and hope that this relationship will be strengthened further for the benefit of the people of the Niger Delta region.
President Buhari commended the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, for providing the required leadership that led to the completion of the project.
In 2015, as part of our administration's cardinal objectives to kill corruption, some critical reforms were embarked upon, part of which was a holistic reform of the NDDC for greater service delivery for the people of the region. To achieve this, I reassigned the supervision of the NDDC to the Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs for administrative efficiency. Second, for the appointment of forensic auditors to review the operations of the Commission and to ensure that the appropriations made to the NNDC are commensurate with what is on the ground.
Speakers at the event poured encomiums on President Muhammadu Buhari for his passion and genuine commitment towards enhancing the development of the Niger Delta region.
I wholeheartedly commend President Muhammadu Buhari for setting up a forensic audit to look through the books of NDDC. I also welcome the setting up of an interim administration to manage the affairs of the Commission pending the conclusion of the forensic audit. With the Commission's new headquarters coming on stream, NDDC is now expected to turn a new leaf in attitude, in performance, and in general operations.
May God bless Mr. President for this edifice. This complex will improve the lives of the people of Niger Delta. These things are being done in a period of pandemic, when many countries cannot pay salaries. I think if nobody can praise you, God praise you by giving you strength of character and giving you long life and helping the rest of us who are committed to your vision to helping you to realize your dream for Nigeria.
We, the chiefs, kings and elders of the Niger Delta, are completely confident in your ability to carry us to the next level.
With the inauguration of the new office complex of the NDDC, attention is now focused on the ongoing forensic audit, whose outcome many believe will lead to rejigging the operations of the Commission for effective service delivery. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In a bit of security, the federal government has formally declared that it will not engage mercenaries in its fight against insurgents and other forms of insecurity in the country. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, stated this at the third edition of the State House media briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team, focusing on the security sector.
The direction of the Commander-in-Chief is that we do not engage mercenaries when we have our own people to deal with this problem. This is basically a presidential directive, and there are so many issues when you come to the issue of mercenaries. It has to do with the issue of national pride also. I know you will say, can pride be more of a concern than our security? I do understand that, but what we're looking at here is that we have the resources. It's just misapplication or underutilization that has affected our ability to deal with these people. And the President has given a new lease of life to the armed forces, and I believe that we should be able to overcome these people without resorting to help from mercenaries.
And as nations celebrate the World Kidney Day, Nigerians have been advised to live above the fear of medical treatment of kidney disease and pay attention to improving the psychosocial well-being of persons with the disease for them to live better and valuable lives in society. Guests at NTA's Good Morning Nigeria emphasized this while discussing the care and treatment of kidney diseases. Joseph Otson reports.
The disease may be life-threatening, but not a death sentence. This is implying that people with kidney disease can live long enough and well with proper management of the disease. The guests on Good Morning Nigeria, who spoke extensively on mitigation and care, say, apart from treatment of kidney disease, which is hugely expensive, patients go through trauma.
Patients that go on dialysis need to know that they can live and achieve some goals.
Teach the patient on how to take care of the organ that transplanted to him. And it's not only the patient also here. The care partners are also involved in the maintenance of the allograft, in the maintenance of the transplanted kidney.
In Nigeria, we have reached the peak of kidney care because the highest you can do for any organ that fails is to substitute to give another organ, and that thing can be done readily in our public hospital as well as private hospital in Nigeria.
The guests dwelled on maintaining good lifestyle, including eating well, drinking at least 3 liters of water daily, regular exercise, and staying off drug abuse, among other preventive measures.
When you take so much salt, it's translated into something else, giving you hypertension. Hypertension kills the kidney.
Quite a number of Nigerians use herbs. We don't know the composition.
The World Health Organization reports that chronic kidney disease is the 12th cause of death globally. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
The National Human Rights Commission has pledged its support to ensuring that human rights are integrated in the national response to both COVID-19 and HIV. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Tony Ojoko, made this known when he received Executive Director, UNAIDS in Abuja. Omenka Amarchuku reports.
There is no doubt that COVID-19 pandemic has triggered additional human rights challenges to humanity, particularly the key populations and persons with HIV and AIDS. Though various stakeholders are making efforts to mitigate these human rights issues, National Human Rights Commission is bringing to the fore key human rights development experts in addressing gender and other forms of inequalities and promoting human dignity.
A right-based approach does not only integrate human rights into development planning and implementation, it encourages debates, participation, and ownership. It promotes accountability in resource mobilization, program implementation, monitoring and evaluation.
Looking at what we've harvested in the last 18 months in our national HIV response, it has given me confidence that yes, it is possible to fight stigma and discrimination and succeed.
Some reason made you a human rights activist. I respect you for turning your pain into dedication to end injustice, discrimination.
National Human Rights Commission also signed a memorandum of partnership with National Agency for Control of HIV and AIDS to enable the two organizations pool their unique mandates and resources together in the fight against HIV and AIDS. In Abuja, Umenka Mrachuku, NTA News.
Meanwhile, United Nations Programme on HIV and AIDS is embarking on more proactive measures as key measure to check the spread of HIV and AIDS in Nigeria. David Ire reports that the development agency is currently providing counseling to categories of youth who, by their professions, endanger the lives of others.
About 1.9 million people are living with HIV/AIDS in Nigeria, most of who are between 15 and 49 years. The prevalence rate, which dropped from 2.8% to 1.4% in 2019, no doubt is a cheering news for the nation. But there seems to be an increase among youths of between 15 and 25 years, according to the United Nations Programme on AIDS.
And I've come here to thank the Nigerian government for doing this work and to ask them to do even more, because we still have maybe about 500,000 people in this country who are not yet on treatment but who have HIV. There's good work done, but there's still work to do.
The Institute of Human Virology and other community service providers now give counseling services to these classes of people.
What we wanted to see is viral suppression, where they can live a normal life, where they can morbidity, mortality can be reduced.
How we deliver our services to young persons, adolescents, and also the youth.
HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis prevention services, post-gender-based violence care, and the linkage to HIV treatment are also being provided by the centers. In Abuja, David Ire, NTA News.
Now to vaccination, the Akwa Ibom State government has taken delivery of 69,030 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines. The State Commissioner for Health, Professor Augustine Omo, led other critical stakeholders in the health sector to the Victor Atta International Airport to witness the official arrival and handing over of the vaccines, while reiterating that health workers and other strategic stakeholders will be the first beneficiary. The Commissioner urged citizens to continue with the online registration for the vaccination and implored them on adherence to safety protocols. And Emmanuel Akila in Gombe reports that the state has also received its supply of the vaccines.
The state has taken the first delivery of the consignment of COVID-19 vaccines, and this indeed is a giant stride in the battle against the pandemic. Gombe State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Habudahiru, received the vaccine at the Gombe International Airport. He explained the protocol for the initial administration of the vaccine.
We are also in receipt of a letter from the Executive Secretary of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency indicating that the vaccination should take place in our states in 4 phases. Phase 1 will include the healthcare workers, those in the rapid response team, and those conducting contact tracing. Then phase 2 will be for those above 50 years of age.
Meanwhile, the consignments have been stored under prescribed condition at the Gombe Pharmaceutical Facility in Gombe. Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, COVID-19 vaccination has commenced in Niger State, with the governor, members of the Executive Council and frontline health workers receiving jabs of the vaccine to validate its genuineness and encourage the populace. The governor has also directed that any Executive Council member that is not vaccinated will not be allowed to attend subsequent council meetings.
Of 74,110 COVID-19 vaccines were allocated to Niger State in the first batch of its distribution, representing 1% of the state's population. The governor and the state executive council members, alongside frontline health workers, received the jabs of the COVID-19 vaccines at its launch, in line with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency's specification. Governor Abakar Sani Bello says only 921 confirmed cases were recorded, with 20 deaths spread across 24 local government areas of the state since the outbreak of the acute respiratory disease about a year ago. He urged the people to avail themselves of the ongoing vaccination, as arrangements are in place for the provision of more COVID-19 vaccines.
Because they are in the front line, you should do it now, you should do it first. So once that is done, then we are able to convince Nigerians that it is safe to do so.
It could be recalled that the state recorded its index case of COVID-19 on the 10th of April 2020 and currently has a patient on admission. Emena Hussaina Musa, NTA News.
Chairman COVID-19 Task Force team in Cross River State, Dr. Betta Edu, has conferred on the University of Calabar the title of the COVID-19 hero for taking proactive measures, one of which is the setting up of a COVID-19 withholding bay and isolation center in the institute. Archibald Bassi tells us more.
The 20-bed space for male and female students is one of the many feats achieved by the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Florence Obi, coming up within her 100 days in office. This achievement by the University of Calabar has made it one of the first federal government-owned universities to set up a COVID-19 isolation center and a withholding bay in the country.
Since our Senate, the highest decision-making body of the university, decided that we have to go physical contact, have physical contact with our students, I set to work. I was actually proactive to make sure that we put in place equipment. We need to sensitize our students and staff.
Inaugurating the facility, the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Betta Edu, assures the institution of the state government's readiness to fill up the gap needed to get the bay functional, and that part of it will be used as a sample collection center.
Say, Professor Florence, you have done great. You have changed the dynamics of the response to COVID-19 in Nigeria. You've changed the dynamics of the response in our dear state.
Professor Florence Obi is the 11th Vice-Chancellor of the University of Calabar and the first female to assume the office. In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA.
This is Nationwide on NTA, reaching live from Abuja. Time to join Kende in Lagos for more reports. Nice to see you, Kende.
Elizabeth, and welcome to Lagos. The World Health Organization has acknowledged Lagos State's response to COVID-19 pandemic as a model, recommending the disease control management for other African countries to emulate. Country's representative of the World Health Organization stated this when he visited Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in the State House. Musa Toliat reports.
The World Health Organization country representative Walter Mulombo said the visit to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu underscores the need to commend the state for taking bold steps to respond effectively to COVID-19 pandemic, despite having relative knowledge about the virus. He, however, stressed that when the rollout of COVID-19 vaccine commences, the state should continue to sensitize the population on the need to maintain and sustain regulations on COVID-19 protocols.
The testing capacity increased in a very short time. I can see the way the capacity for providing oxygen to patients suffering from COVID. Many states here in Nigeria have learned from the response that was going on here in Lagos. We are looking forward to Lagos State to show the same leadership in rolling out the COVID-19 vaccine.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu assured that Lagos State will step up efforts to flatten the COVID-19 curve by constantly engaging its medical professionals on best approaches to respond to new developments around the pandemic.
We see health as a strong critical component of our human capital index, and it's something that we're deliberately putting this year. I think over 12% of our total capex budget, in health. The second wave appears to have flattened out. We're watching. We're not stopping, at the level of tests that we need to conduct. So we're willing to partner with WHO to see areas of further collaboration.
It will be recalled that Lagos State government took delivery of 507,000 doses of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines on Tuesday. In Lagos, Musa Toliak, NTA News.
The memory of the wanton destruction of property during the NSAS protest is still very fresh in the minds of Lagos Council of Nigeria Union of Journalists. Because of this development, the association has resolved to prosecute peddlers of fake news and other information capable of inducing violence. This affirmative position was given by its chairman, Adeleye Ajayi, at the donation of a vehicle to the union by the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Michael Olaleye reports.
Lagos, being the commercial nerve of Nigeria, is faced with difficulty when it comes to mobility. Journalists in particular bear the brunt of the traffic situation, which usually affects the promptness of reporting a breaking news.
Amen.
This presentation is about to change the tide and will invariably add value to the process of news gathering. It is a product of the philanthropic gesture of the national leader of the APC, based on his belief that the media remains a vital tool for stimulating socio-political growth.
When the media is okay, the country will be okay. We are trying to strengthen the media so that they can be another arm of government to keep us on our feet, to make sure that Nigerians get the best.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists is passionate about the gesture and determined to complement the vision of the APC by addressing the green culture of fake news threatening national peace and unity.
Apart from sanctioning whoever perpetrates fake news, we want to attach much importance to training and retraining of journalists. When a journalist is well trained, you won't have time, you won't have the wherewithal to go into fake news. And fake news is dangerous to our profession. We want to stamp it out entirely.
This donation is coming barely 4 months after the emergence of the union's new leadership. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
We'll go on a commercial break. Nationwide continues after this time out. Stay with us.
Thanks for staying with us. Now to economic matters. Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak has presented certificate of occupancy to the Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority, NEPSA, for the siting of free trade zones in the state. Raliat Ibrahim reports that Kwara State is one of the 6 pilot states where the federal government is setting up economic zones.
Free trade zones are areas specifically prepared to attract an influx of investments. The Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority, NEPSA, is saddled with the responsibility of making certain zones are attractive for investment through the provision of state-of-the-art facilities. Kwara State is one of the 6 pilot states where the federal government is setting up special economic zones
that will be featuring industries that are agro-allied and, of course, other such industries that may want to be sited there.
Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak noted that the federal government's inclusion of Kwara in the first phase of the program is a boost to the state's efforts in the area of industrialization.
This certificate to concretize our commitment to this opportunity given to Kwara by the federal government.
Certificate of occupancy for the siting of the free trade zones in Kwara State was thereafter presented to the Managing Director of NEBZA, Raliat Ibrahim. NTA News.
Legal practitioners in Ebonyi State Ministry of Justice are boycotting the State High Court as alleged unfavorable working conditions and non-payment of minimum wage and other allowances. Uchechukwu Onwe reports that activities are in low-key at the court due to the development.
Lawyers from the State Ministry of Justice under the umbrella of Law Officers Association of Nigeria, Ebonyi State Chapter, with Ogbinya Ndubisi, a principal state counsel as chairman, explained that their action became imperative following the expiration of a 7-day notice as well as several memorandums to the state government to address issues on non-implementation of the harmonization of salaries, condition of service of law officers, exclusion of law officers from the new minimum wage, as well as non-funding of government cases.
We are no more living, we are only existing. We do not have anything at the end of the month for our family. It is disheartening that after we sent our letter to the appropriate court or government for them to address it, only me and my colleagues we handed over a query.
The Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Ebonyi State, Cletus Ofoke, disclosed that the state government had doled out grants as well as provided other incentives for the law officers in the ministry.
Government has been funding cases within the limit of our resources. The law officers are civil servants who earn their salaries. Their allowances, transport allowances are also built in. The minimum wage, as approved by Ebonyi State government, also benefits everybody. But they are now saying that their own should be different from what were built in the salary of others.
Following the boycott, activities are in low-key at the State High Court as government cases suffer. In Abakaliki, Uchechukwu Onwe, NTA News.
And Kemi in Ibadan is standing by with some reports for us on Nationwide. Hello, Kemi.
Welcome to Ibadan. Kwara State government has received consignment of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines from the federal government. A total number of 50,790 doses of the vaccines were received at the Ilorin International Airport by government officials. Raliat Ibrahim has the report.
We do apologize. Our studio in Ibadan is having a little technical challenge. We'll continue from here. Moving on, Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court Abuja has extended a restraining order issued to Ondo State government from probing or removing the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Oluwatoyin Akeredolu, by 14 days. Austin Ayebe reports that this followed the non-appearance in court of 4 out of 6 defendants.
The Chief Judge of Ondo State, Oluwatoyin Akeredolu, had approached the Federal High Court seeking to stop the Governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, the Attorney General of the state and State House of Assembly, from probing her based on allegations made against her and the state judiciary by one Olupelumi Fagboegun, who had been detained for the past 3 years. She equally sought an order to stop the Attorney General of the Federation, National Judicial Council, and Inspector General of Police from acting on any report submitted to them by Ondo State government pending the determination of the substantive suit. Justice Eko had granted the ex parte order on 25th of February with the expectation of hearing the motion on the 11th of March. However, the motion could not be heard because only one defendant entered appearance by filing a counter affidavit. The absence of the defendants informed the decision of Justice Eko to extend the restraining order and adjourn the matter to the 22nd of March to enable the defendants appear in court.
I've been serving them hearing notice consistently, and today they are again not in court, and the court has made an order extending the lifespan of that ex parte order by another 14 days.
Governor Akeredolu was said to have ordered investigation into the allegation that the Chief Judge of Ondo State, Oluwatoyin Akeredolu, illegally detained a suspect, Olupelumi Fagboegun, for 3 years. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
It is no longer business as usual for business outfits who shortchange their patrons, as the Department of Weights and Measures of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is poised to protect consumers by clamping down on cheats. Benny Adams will bring us details in our subsequent bulletin. The federal government initiative of setting aside 1.68% development of Natural Resources Fund with a relevant mobilization, allocation and fiscal commission is continuing to attract interest from the states lining up to access the fund. Yobe in the northeast is one of such states in Nigeria that in January this year submitted an application requesting for 52.5 billion naira from the fund, as disclosed by the chairman, Fiscal Efficiency and Budget Committee of the Commission, Adamu Shetima Dibal, during an assessment visit to Yobe State. Yunusa Sulaiman reports.
Yobe State in northeast Nigeria, with an estimated landmass of more than 47,000 square kilometers and a population of 2.3 million people according to the 2006 census, has vast agricultural, solid minerals and tourism potentials. Out of the desire to harness these economic potentials, the state recently applied for 52.5 billion naira under the Development of Natural Resources Fund domiciled at the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission to enable it develop these sectors. This led the chairman, Fiscal Efficiency and Budget Committee of the Commission to visit Yobe State for an on-the-spot assessment of potentials.
The aim of establishing the 1.68% DNRF is to achieve resources diversification and provide alternative sources of revenue not only to the federal government but to the other two tiers of government.
The state, as you may be aware, is blessed with numerous untapped natural endowments. We have large deposits of gypsum, potash, rainwater, limestone, and iron ore.
At a technical session with the Secretary to the State Government, Babamalan Wali, presentations were made regarding the three priority sectors in agriculture, solid minerals and tourism. Yobe State noted that if granted, the money will be used to diversify its economic potentials, create employment opportunities, attract investors, and increase its internally generated revenue base. In Damatru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Let's pause here and join Susan in our Markudi studio.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Makudi. The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has banned over 40 secondary schools in Benue State from conducting the Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination by WAEC and NECO over examination malpractices. Iviarin Solomon reports that the schools, which are mostly owned by private individuals, are suspended from conducting the examination for 2 years.
The Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, SSCE, is one among the certificates required to gain admission into all tertiary institutions within and outside the country. The examination is conducted yearly by the West African Examination Council, WAEC, and National Examination Council, NECO, in all secondary schools across the states of the Federation. The result for the year 2020/2021 is out. However, that of 40 secondary schools in Benue State are being withheld as the schools are blacklisted over examination malpractices. Commissioner for Education, Professor Dennis Itiavia, disclosed that the state government had identified the schools notorious for such practices.
In the past, principals of schools where examination malpractice has been detected have lost their jobs. And we are also going to look at this because there are schools that are in remote areas of Benue State and they need to be also punished. And we are going to investigate at the state level. Where necessary, we will completely close such schools.
He further stated that the ministry would display the names of the schools involved for the general public to serve as a deterrent to others. In Makudi, Iverin Solomon, NTA News. Iverin Solomon, NTA News.
Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State has tasked universities to mold personalities for selfless and effective leadership that can surmount the myriad of challenges facing the nation. The governor gave the charge when the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nsukka, Professor Charles Igwe, visited him in Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
Governor Samuel Otom, who lamented the multidimensional challenges facing the country, acknowledged the capacity of universities to groom personalities for good governance and challenge university dons to rise to the occasion of raising selfless leaders that can change the narrative. He also urged them to use their intellectual proficiency to proffer solutions to the socio-economic and political issues in various parts of the country.
Because of our proximity to you, don't be tired of us when we come for admission. And we'll continue to make you proud as we have your members here.
Vice Chancellor, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Professor Charles Igwe, who pledged to do the needful, expressed optimism of mutual benefits between the institution and Benue State.
The University of Nigeria want to extend this hand beyond Obelafo, want to come into Benue proper and want to interact with the people both at the level of studentship, at the level of interaction and linkages. If there is anything the University of Nigeria can do for Benue State, you feel Benue State can do for, the University of Nigeria can do for Benue State, we will be ready.
Both parties exchanged pleasantries with hope of more resourceful relationship. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Experts have advised members of the public against taking foods exposed to sunlight to avoid active organisms that can present substances capable of causing cancer and other dangerous ailments. They gave the advice against the backdrop of the exposure of food drinks packaged in plastics to sunlight for long hours and its health implications on humans. Godwin Inalugu has more.
Foods preserved or packaged in plastics have come a long way in Nigeria. Common among them are carbonated drinks, fruit juice, bottled water, among others. Plastic, experts say, contains chemicals that are harmful to human health, especially when overexposed to sunlight.
The implications are grievous. Some might turn because of exposure to the sun. The substances can turn into ions that become carcinogenic, and if you are not lucky, you are exposed to it, it can present you with a cancer case and such situations.
A visit round Makurdi shows that some of these packaged food drinks meant for consumption are displayed under direct sunlight at most shopping outlets in the metropolis. Chief Isaac Akinkumi is a producer of dairy products and water in Makurdi.
Handling makes a lot of sense when you package pure water, and even the plastic, the bottled water, they should not be kept under direct sunlight. It just have to do with method of handling.
The NAFDAC, they ask us to be storing it under a very good condition. By the time we get it outside to the wholesaler, we also educate them that they should keep the product away from sunlight.
Benue State Coordinator, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, declined to speak to NTA News when contacted in his office. In Makurdi, Godwin Inalugu, NTA News.
And that's it from Makurdi. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thank you so much, Susan. Now to Women Affairs. Removing all barriers hindering women and girls in science, technology, engineering and mathematics will see to more infrastructural development in the country. This was the thrust of stakeholders' presentations at a forum to mark the 2021 International Women's Day, put together by the Association of Professional Engineers of Nigeria and its partners. Haman Jabani reports.
It is believed that only 14% of engineers in Nigeria are women, but the number has constantly been growing in the last few years despite the existence of the obstacles faced by them in science, technology, engineering and mathematics. This is why the Association of Professional Women Engineers in Nigeria is working towards encouraging girls from the grassroots to have interest. The association awarded scholarship to 6 girls from the North Central, Southwest and Northwest zones after a competition to qualify for the award.
We are grateful that there are people who have been able to open their minds.
I have exceeded the Beijing 35% affirmative. My own is 42%. And we can do more because they have proof, they are mentors.
To encourage those working to change the narrative, the association has awarded 20 Nigerians under 3 categories of #Choose to Challenge Award, Pillar of Women Empowerment Award, and Pillar of Girl Child STEAM Education Award, which has governors of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, Lagos, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Ebonyi, David Umahi, Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, as recipients.
So when women are empowered, we can see the society will also be empowered.
Stakeholders commended the association for their contributions and solicit more opportunities to women in national planning. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Women in the All Progressives Congress are demanding equal representation in the party's elective positions. Minister of Women Affairs Pauline Talin led a delegation to the National Secretariat of the party to submit a memorandum to the party's caretaker committee. Saliu Abdullah Gwanara reports.
Of the reforms of the Governor Mala Buni-led APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee is to review the party's constitution. To the women wing of the APC, this creates a window of opportunity to make their position clear as they demand for more participation and representation in party affairs.
Nigeria is leading in all aspects except true representation of women in political parties, and we want that corrected because of national development.
APC, as we know, knows that women constitute its backbone.
The APC Constitution Review Committee commenced its assignment on 2nd March 2021, and it is expected to last for a month. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullah Gwanara, NTA News.
You watch Nationwide. Let's take a break now. More reports to come. The ongoing membership registration and revalidation exercise of the All Progressives Congress in Imo State has continued to record large turnout in rural communities. Beatrice Anyim monitored the exercise in some electoral wards and now reports.
APC membership registration and revalidation exercise continues across the country. Members and supporters of the party in parts of Imo State have continued to troop out in their numbers for the exercise. In some wards in Owerri West local government area of Imo State, most people, including the physically challenged, were seen effectively participating.
This exercise will make the whole Nigeria and the whole world to know that APC is the largest political party.
The APC as a ruling party has done great. The SPW, Special Public Worker, I'm a beneficiary.
Our visit to some registration points in Olu local government area was not different, as our camera lens captured new and old members of the APC.
It's quite important. I will urge everyone to come out to be a part of this exercise.
I want the APC to continue going on.
Stakeholders who applauded the exercise say it has afforded the APC opportunity to strategize towards building a united party. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyim, NTA News.
And for the next set of reports, let's join our studio in Benin.
Thanks for joining us in Benin. Edo State government has received 81,080 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine for distribution in the state. The State Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Osanwoyi Irowa, received the AstraZeneca vaccines at the Benin airport on Wednesday night. Ivio Yakiri reports.
The vaccines allocated to the state by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 arrived at Benin Airport at about 7:50 in the evening and were received by the members of the Edo State COVID-19 Task Force, comprising stakeholders in the state's health sector. Permanent Secretary Dr. Osavonyi Irowa expressed Governor Godwin Obaseki's determination to administering the vaccine as soon as possible. He says all preparations, including training of health workers at all levels, have been successfully carried out.
From here, which is the airport now, we are moving to our state coast store, where these commodities will be safely kept. And we are rolling out all the vaccines as fast as can be. I must remind you all that we have actually done all the preparatory activities in the state. We have trained healthcare workers at the state level. Even at the local government level, we have also trained healthcare workers, and all the trainings are ongoing.
The PS the federal government for its role in curtailing the coronavirus pandemic.
We believe that this will be the first step in the right direction on ensuring that Edo State becomes COVID-19 free.
With this development, the state is expected to administer the vaccines, starting with the governor, top government functionaries, and frontline health workers. In Benin, Ivie Oyahiri, NTA News.
The federal government is building the capacity of youths and existing practitioners in agricultural extension delivery system. It is also exposing and equipping them with the best global practices and tools to enable them to deliver efficiently. This is a full training of extension agents on extension tools, methodologies, and selected agricultural value chains. Chuka Ona was at the training in Benin, Edo State.
The decline in the fortunes of the agricultural extension system due to the decrease in funding, policy changes, inadequate manpower, and lack of interest of young people in agricultural entrepreneurship have in no small measure affected food production, exposing the country to the dangers of unemployment, youth restiveness, economic instability, and insufficiency in food supply. This training, therefore, is one way the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, in collaboration with the National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services and other partners, is adopting to halt the trend and revitalize the sector. Organizers say they are optimistic that the drive by the federal government will reposition the farmers and address the problem of low productivity and lack of adherence to standards, causing rejection of Nigerian produce abroad.
Farming season is about to start, so the extension workers are well equipped now. They were trained along the value chain of rice, cassava, and poultry.
Our target in the AGP is to boost food production this year by 30%. Even though we have other commodities that we're looking at soybean, we're looking at catfish, and conventional oil palm, cocoa, and the others.
If we must lift our people out of poverty, agriculture is the way to go.
The target audience want more opportunities like this.
There are these provisions they give to us now. We house our youths who are led agriculture to come back.
Equipment and materials were presented to the Agricultural Development Program, Edo State. In Benin, Ogochkuka Ona, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Elizabeth, it's over to you for the rest of Nationwide.
Thank you, Obey. Next is Sports Update.
It has been medals rain for Team Nigeria cyclists at the African Continental Track Cycling Championships in Cairo, Egypt. The women elite team made history, winning gold medals in team sprints and pursuit events, while getting a silver in the team time trial. In the junior category, Nigeria won silver in the team sprint and bronze in team pursuit events. To combat sports, Nigeria's Elizabeth Ayanacho on Thursday lost 6-7 to Melika Mihiseni Valiki of Iran in the quarterfinals of Turkish Taekwondo Open. Ayanacho had earlier defeated Medin Esu Eroglu of Turkey 13-0 by technical knockout in round of 16.
I was disappointed at the outcome, but I've not competed in like 1 year, so I still have some other major tournaments. It's part of the learning.
The Turkish Open is Ayanacho's first competitive event in 1 year as she continues her build-up to the Tokyo Olympic Games. And in mixed martial arts, Nigeria-born Israel Adesanya could be forced to sit out for 6 months after his points defeat to light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz last weekend in the Ultimate Fighting Championship UFC 259. The middleweight champion needs an X-ray of his left foot and ankle and a clearance by a doctor before he can return to action, while also avoiding contact for 3 weeks. With sports updates, Tamara Ibiwe, NTA News.
And that's Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget the campaign against rape is still on. Connect with us at the NTA, Kick Against Rape and Rapists. Good evening.